In this video, I want to share with you how to evaluate an expression. And basically what we're doing is we're going to find the value of an expression, and we're going to do that by plugging in or substituting in a number or a value for a variable. Or you might have an expression with a couple of different variables, and then we're going to plug in those values. Now first, before we begin, let's talk a little bit about expression, what an expression is. An expression is really like a math statement, but it does not include an equal sign. So you might have something like x plus 4. That would be considered an expression. Or you might have x divided by y minus 3z. Okay, this would also be an expression. There's no equal sign, but if we were to find out what the values of these letters were, or these variables, and then follow order of operations and simplifying, then we would be able to, we would know what this expression, what the value of this expression was. But just as an example, both of these would be examples of expressions. Okay, now we're going to do some examples of finding or evaluating the expression. So evaluating is basically we're going to come up with a number answer. So we're going to find the value of this first one. Okay, we're going to say we've got 3 times the quantity of x plus 2, and then we're going to add to that 4. And this would be an expression, but I'm going to tell you that x is going to equal 2. Okay, x is going to equal 2. So when you're given a situation like this where you have an expression and then you have the value of the variable, what you're going to do now is substitute in that 2 for every time you see an x. So what you'll do is we're going to rewrite 3 times the quantity of 2 plus 2 and then plus 4. So see what I did there? I took that x equals 2, and instead of rewriting the x, I substituted in the 2. Now we're just going to follow order of operations and figure out the value of this expression. So remember, we're going to do parentheses first. So we've got 4 plus 4. So 3 times 4 is going to happen before we add. So 12 plus 4 equals 16. So we just evaluated this expression by substituting in the value of x. Let's go ahead and do another one. Let's say we have 4x squared plus 3 times the quantity of x plus 4. And we're going to say that x equals, let's go with 5. I'm just kind of making it up. Okay. Now, notice that I have the value of one variable, and I have 2 variables. This one happens to be squared, and this one is not squared. So when I rewrite this, I'm going to write 5, but I have to include that exponent. So I'll go ahead and do that. So I've got 4, and this is times, so I'm going to go ahead and put these in parentheses. You could use a dot or an X, and I'm going to go 5 squared plus 3, and I'm using a different color just to show you where the value of x is going. You don't need to do that. This is just for visual purposes only to help you. So now parentheses first, so we're going to figure out this part here. So we've got 3 times 9, And I could, instead of rewriting, bringing this down, I could go ahead and evaluate that. So that's 4 times 25 plus 3 times 9. Now these are two multiplication problems we're going to add together. So this becomes 100 plus 27, which is 127. Okay? Let's do one where you're given the value of two different variables within an expression, and we'll go ahead and evaluate that. So we want to find the value of x squared plus 2y minus 4 plus 3 times x plus z. Okay, that's a z. And if it helps to put a little line through that to help you, that's not a 2, it's a z. We can do that. Okay, and I'm going to give you the value of x, y, and z. Let's say that x is going to be 7, y is going to be 5, and let's use a negative number here. Let's say z is going to be a negative 2. Okay, I'm going to get some different colors to kind of help me illustrate this. I'm going to say the x is going to be my 7, or my red. So x is the pink 7, okay? And so I'm going to rewrite putting my 7 in with the x. So 7 squared, and I don't have, I have one right here, so I'm going to put 7. Okay, let's say the y is going to be this light blue. Okay, so here we have, this is probably more confusing than I'm trying to make it. Let me go ahead and put in, so we've got times 5. I'm using parentheses. You can use a dot or an x if you want. So 4 plus 3 plus, and then z. Let's make the z a green, negative 2. So negative 2. Let's go like that. Okay? So let's just make sure I wrote that down correctly, because there's a lot going on. We had an x2, so that's going to be 7 squared, plus 2y, so that'd be times, or plus 2 times 5, minus 4 plus 3 times the quantity of an x, which would be 7, plus z, which would be negative 2. Okay. All right, looks like I did that correct. And oftentimes people make mistakes just rewriting it, and so you want to be really careful with that. Now, order of operations, I want to solve parentheses first and then evaluate my exponents before I do any of the operations. So I have, this and my parentheses way over here. So I'm just going to go ahead and evaluate this, bring down this stuff, and then figure out what's inside there. So 7 squared, of course, is 49. Let me draw a line here. Plus 2, 5, minus 4, plus 3. Now, 7 plus negative 2 is going to be 5. Okay. And then now I've got 49 plus, and then a multiplication problem, subtraction, and then addition, and then multiplication. So again, I want to multiply before I add and subtract. So I've got, that's here and that's there. So let's see, we've got 49 plus 10 minus 4 plus 15. Now we've got addition and subtraction only. We're going to go left to right. So 49 plus 10 is going to be 59 minus 4 plus 15. And then this 49 minus 4 will give me 55 plus 15. And then that's going to be 70. Okay, 55. 55 plus 5 is 60 plus 10 is 70. Okay, so I evaluated this original expression by substituting in the values for each letter. And then I followed order of operations to find the value of this expression. So you'll be given some problems to work on in your homework where you're given values, you're going to substitute them in to figure out the value of the expressions.